Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Slime Boss here, and if you don't know, I am quite the busy person. I'm currently going to school. I have a full-time job. Well, I won't when I do go to school, but I'm always moving. I'm constantly moving. I live between both of my parents' houses, so I'm always on the move. I'm always in my car, and I even go on trips, at least, you know, try to go once a year, and so I'm always on the move. So quite often, I find myself playing my Nintendo Switch in handheld mode. And to say the least, the Nintendo Switch isn't the most comfortable thing in the world. Back in 2017, I would have said it was. My hands were a lot smaller than I was in the middle of high school, and now playing this like this for long sessions is very, very uncomfortable, especially for someone who is always traveling and is always playing in portable mode, hence why I got the OLED, because the better screen is so much better for that. However, the Joy-Cons don't really do it justice, so I've been searching around the internet for potential solutions to my problem, and god, boy, do those Joy-Cons cramp my fingers up so bad. And you might think, oh, why don't you just play it in like tabletop mode and use the grip? And that works, and I don't have any problems with that, but it's not always practical. I really like playing in the handheld mode. I grew up playing on DS and 3DS, and those were like my go-to consoles, and then when I was at home I would play my Wii and stuff, but my go-to thing is definitely to play as much as I can in handheld mode to take advantage of the hybrid system. However, again, like I said, it is very, very uncomfortable. And I found a couple of solutions. The first solution was that of the handheld grip. And I don't have it because I didn't purchase it, but I thought it would be best to just get better controllers, because the Joy-Cons aren't the greatest thing in the world as it is. I love the Joy-Con. I love using them for things like Mario Galaxy on the Switch and like Mario Odyssey on the Switch, because they were meant to be used with Joy-Con, but more often than not, when I'm at home, I'm going to be using my Pro Controller. So why not just have a Pro Controller on the Nintendo Switch? And so I originally started with the Hori Split Pad Pros. The only problem with those is that they were a little bit too chunky for my liking, and they have a very, very cheap and plastically feel to them. However, I highly, highly recommend to them if you are having the same issues that I am having, and it is a very, very cheap option. It is available at most places, Target, Walmart, GameStop, anywhere, and you can get really cool custom designs out of it. And it was really good for quite some time, but I had my eye on a particular controller that hadn't yet released, and once Nathaniel Bandy actually did a promotion on this product, I knew I had to get it. And that is I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but it is the NYXI Joy-Con GameCube controller. And wowie wowie zowie, is this so cool. It is very, very comfortable to hold, and one of my favorite controllers of all time is the GameCube controller, as much as I'm not really a big fan of the game selection that's on there. Luigi's Mansion isn't the greatest thing in the world. Mario Sunshine also is a thing, but that's beside the point. This is peak gaming right here. Not so much anymore. And I've come to realize that this isn't the best solution either. But we'll get into that, because this video is all about this controller. But this is the best product that I've ever held that's a third-party product. It is very nice. I haven't had any drops or disconnects, and it works very well in TV as well as handheld mode, because if you don't know, you can actually take these bad boys off and they work as Joy-Con, and they actually do work as Joy-Con. The difference between these and the Hori Split Pad Pros is that the Hori Split Pad Pros are not wireless. That was a big one for me. Is that what if I did want to play in tabletop mode, I wouldn't be able to, because I would only be able to play in handheld mode. And so these are actually wireless. On top of that, if you really wanted to, I don't know why you would, they also have, you could play like a sideways Joy-Con. I really don't know why. There are buttons up there, but you can if you want to. It has a better D-pad than that of the GameCube controller as well. Usually the GameCube controller has a little bit of a smaller D-pad. It also has a smaller C-stick as well. This is a little bit bigger and a lot better than the Switch's, the Joy-Con D-pad as well. So not only can you play it like this, like a Pro controller, you can also play them You could play them like split Joy-Con, or you can play them in handheld. There's a bunch of different options, and it looks like a GameCube controller, which is really cool. Now, I've tried this with a few games. The first game was, of course, Super Smash Brothers, and I tried this both in TV and in handheld mode, and I had a great time with it. I will say it's a little bit chunky and a little bit wide, but that's okay because I kind of expected that going into it. This controller also has the feature of turbo buttons. I have yet to actually take advantage of that. I don't really know the purpose in that myself because of the way I play games, but honestly, the best thing I can say about this is the comfortability, because often when I play games for long periods of sessions, my hands can get cramped. And yes, your hands will get cramped with this as well, but not as quickly as they will with Joy-Con, I can tell you that. This is very comfortable, very ergonomic. Again, like I said, the GameCube controller is one of the best controllers, but I will say that it is a little bit chunkier compared to what you're used to with the traditional GameCube controller. Has a little bit more heft to it as well, and a couple of the features that you might be missing when you play with this controller is the analog D-pad. And this D-pad, or not D-pad, trigger. This trigger is just a traditional trigger. So yeah, and you actually do get to both L and R, which of course, why wouldn't you? So it has benefits, and it has both pros and cons, but I think that this is probably my best solution to most of my issues. However, this is where it starts to become an issue. Again, it's wireless, it's comfortable, and it plays like a GameCube controller, and also it actually has those grooves in it as well. This one, you can actually change it out to a smoother groove as well. I believe it has drift protection as well, and so it is a very great controller. However, it is still a GameCube controller, which means that GameCube controllers are very, very specific and can only be used in certain circumstances. So I told you I tried a few games with this. I tried Super Smash Brothers, which worked flawlessly. In fact, I've never gamed so hard in my life. The footage that you're seeing on screen right now isn't the greatest footage, just because I had a very hard time actually recording the controller and the game at the same time, and to actually be able to hold the controller comfortably in order to actually show my skills. So it actually is a really, really bad footage, but you know, it's really great, it's really comfortable, it works for that. It works for Mario Kart as well. Mario Kart is the most relevant and has been ever, and so playing it with the controller works well, obviously, because you don't have to use the X and Y buttons, you literally just have to use the A and the triggers, so that was a lot of fun. And of course, I tried out the most recent big Nintendo game, being Tears of the Kingdom. And the problem with Tears of the Kingdom was that the Zelda game wasn't really meant for the GameCube controller. And I guess I could probably go into the settings and change some things around. And like I said, I was having a great time, and it was very comfortable. However, the game wasn't really built for it, as X is to run and Y is to use an attack. And because of the way that the GameCube controller is formatted, it is very hard for me to run and use the attack button at the same time, or jump with B. So it's just because of the nature of the controller. That's not the fault of it, because it was going for that GameCube aesthetic, so that's not a fault of it. But I will say that the games are or the controller is very game specific, unless you can get comfortable with it or change the controls. Maybe that's why you have the turbo button. But so far, all the games that I played with it have been really fun. Again, Tears of the Kingdom might be that one weird exception because of the way that it's played. But Mario Kart works splendidly. I'm sure regular 2D Mario would work as well. Again, you would have to change it so that B is run and A is jump instead of X and A, because it might get a little bit confusing. But of course, you can always change these things around. And of course, it works pretty flawlessly with 3D Mario as well, just because there is no run button in 3D Mario, so it doesn't really need that. So again, it really depends on the game, but I think the biggest thing for me is the comfortability, and it succeeded in all those grounds. So I think that I would probably need to get another one of these, not ones that's a particularly shaped like a GameCube controller. I would probably use this a lot more for Smash, since I don't have a GameCube adapter. And I will probably be getting another controller similar to the Hori Split Pad Pros, but are wireless, so I can actually solve that issue. But no, this is a great controller, and I highly recommend it. This video is not sponsored whatsoever, but I figured I'd give my thoughts on it. It's a little bit of a different video than what you're used to. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And we also have a Patreon if you want to help us out and support the channel, allow us to do cool videos like this, and just like the Super Nintendo World. You can join us at the $5 tier. All proceeds go straight back into video making. everything, and again, to make it so that we're able to make cool videos like this. So we'll see you guys next time for something different. Bye.